Hi, j-fallon, and thanks for listening. So, December of 2024, I did an episode, released an episode, looking at the report that was done by the Human Rights Commission, which said, let me read it, that QPS needed major reforms, and also that the systems within the QPS allowed for discrimination. Part of their recommendations of the 2022 inquiry finding that discrimination was running rampant. There was racism, sexism, this kind of thing. I'm reading the report, what the episode that I'd done last year. Thought, what's actually changed? Well, Steve Golszewski, he's away sick, so I believe he's still commissioner, but he's off on sick leave. He's off battling an illness, and Shane Pryor is under the pump because he fumbled like the one real job that he's got, the one big thing that he should be looking after, and that's the EB agreement for the police. He fumbled it spectacularly, and now everyone's up in arms going, "Get him out! He's not that great." Which I could have told you that years ago when he stabbed me in the back. Anyway, I want to re-release this episode just to refresh everyone's memory and say, has anything actually changed within the QPS? We still have a lot of DEI recruitment going on. I think recruitment standards have continued to be lowered, have continued to fall, which I don't think is a good thing. I think this is why we've had so many more police shooting civilians over the last couple of years, because they have lowered the standards of recruitment. So I thought it would be apropos to re-release this episode. Just question, has anything actually changed? I put this out in December of 2024. The inquiry had happened, the recommendations in that inquiry had happened in 2022. Now it's 2025. Is anything ever actually going to change within QPS, or they'll just keep muddling along, and just a bit of a change of leadership here and there, and that'll do it? So this is this episode re-released from 2024, but ask yourself, what has changed within the Queensland Police Service systems, and are we getting any better? Are we getting better bang for our buck as taxpayers?
Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Okay, let's check out this video together. There's a few things to go through here, actually. So it's going to be pretty interesting, I think.
Systemic discrimination, outdated recruitment standards, and old-fashioned boys' club attitudes. The Human Rights Commission says the Queensland Police Service needs major reform.
Rather than just a problem of a few bad apples, it is the systems that shape QPS workplace culture, and it is the systems that allow discrimination to thrive.
The review, a recommendation of the 2022 Commission of Inquiry, spoke to more than 2,800 employees, finding women, First Nations and culturally diverse staff faced discrimination, including slurs about female officers sleeping their way to the top, racism being justified as banter, and workers who complain branded dogs. One worker said they wouldn't let their daughter join the QPS because it's the men in the police. That's where the danger is. I would never recommend this job to anyone.
I don't think it's anything new in terms of what we saw in the Commission of Inquiry. I think it's a continuation of
This is his comment just then. I find extremely. I'm a little concerned about it. A little concerned, okay? He said it's nothing new. There's nothing new. This is the problem. They've known about this stuff for a long time, but nothing's been done about it. Okay, they've done this inquiry. I have serious doubts that anything will actually change, anything will actually happen. I don't agree with the DEI things that they want to bring in. However, all the other changes, the meaningful changes that they need to make, that's been reported, I don't think they will end up making them. And as he said, there's nothing new here. There's nothing new under the sun. They already knew about these things, but it's nice to have an inquiry and a 520-page report to read about it.
that piece of work that gives us more understanding of the challenge we have in that space and paints a way forward.
The Commission made 36 recommendations, including flexible work options for caregivers and a review of both recruitment standards and diversity targets.
I'm just really...
Oh, Shane Pryor. I had to have surgery a couple of years ago to get the knife out of my back that he put in there. So I'm a little. He's not my favourite person in the world. Anyway, I want to go back and read that part again. Listen to that part
The
again.
Commission made 36 recommendations,
36.
including flexible work options for caregivers and a review of both recruitment standards and diversity targets.
Okay, so this is where I think our opinions go different paths here. I don't think, I think their recruitment standards have failed and they've gone down dismally over the last couple of years because they want to meet these DEI targets. Instead of advertising, instead of trying to recruit the best, and instead of just coming to grips with the fact that if they don't meet the targets, well, then that's fine because you're still you're still getting the best quality recruits. But instead of just getting the best quality, all they've done is lower the targets. And we've got a heap of people in there, quite frankly, should not be police officers. They're walking around armed. They're not cut out to be police, but all they've done just to meet the targets is lower their standards. Anyway, this isn't the way that the report sees it. They think that no, we can just as long as we're getting more diversity in there, that's all that matters.
I'm just really concerned that the Queensland Police Service is obsessed with delivering on these thought bubble recommendations.
The union argues diversity hire slurs will get worse if the service pursues targets, and they won't help the front line.
Right now, we've got about 6 crews in Logan that are drowning in about 100 unresourced jobs, and we're sitting here and talking about aspirational targets and quotas.
Those issues and the...
Yeah, okay. So I actually do agree with Shane Pryor. Doesn't mean that I think he's a great person. I just agree with what he said. Actually made a little bit of sense right there. Trying to get these targets when realistically there's issues on the ground and all they're worried about is these diversity targets just exacerbates the problems they've already got.
Culture around that needs to change if we're going to attract and retain a police service that reflects the community of Queensland.
Will Murray, ABC News, Brisbane.
Okay, so in my opinion, this all goes back. The problems really started or were exacerbated when the pandemic came about. Okay, Katerina Golszewski was a major part of it, and the union, Shane Pryor, they were all a part of it. They decided they would attack officers who were on the ground because if you didn't agree with the mandates, well, then you're out the door. So they kept officers who were not suitable, officers who were blatantly doing the wrong thing. I've spoken about this a lot of times before. Officers who were doing the wrong thing, who were caught doing the wrong things, the union would stand behind them, go into bat for them, go to court for them, with them, and make sure that they were able to keep the jobs. However, you could be an officer with an unblemished record, okay, and what would happen? You didn't agree with the mandates, they attacked you, they treated you like a criminal. Thus, we have over the last couple of years so many police officers feeling disenchanted, disenfranchised with the system that they have left. So we've lost far too many experienced officers, and this is why we have a lot of this problem. Now, the other thing with this video is, as Golszewski says, there's nothing new. There's no surprises here. He already knew it. All of the hierarchy, the leadership team, they've already known of these problems. These have been problems that have been in QPS for not just a couple of years, for decades when it comes to the racism and the sexism. DEI is not going to improve it. Okay. Now, I do think that having a higher percentage of females in there might help in some situations. I will tell you about it. A lot of the females I worked with were not any better when it came to when it came to maybe sexist slurs, even some racial slurs sometimes, the females weren't any better than the males. You get in the culture, you get into the, you're out there in the field and you come across and you hear some things there, the females. A lot of the time, I found the females were just as filthy talking as what the males were. So let's stop putting the ladies on this high pedestal and making it like everything will be so much better. But I do think that there will be some situations that they would benefit if they had more females. But you got to stop lowering the standard just because you're scared that you're not getting enough people, enough females or diversity applying. You need the best rather than just lowering the standards. But as I said, when it comes back to the racism and the sexism and all that going on within the QPS, Golshevsky, the leadership team, they've known about it for years, decades. So there's nothing new. I don't think anything's going to change. I really don't. And I also think that the union is a big part of the problem because, getting back to what happened in the mandates, I saw it firsthand. Officers that did blatantly, what can I say? Officers that got in trouble for serious misconduct, the union would go into bat for them, go in and stand before the courts for them and fight for them to keep their jobs. But when they turned their backs on officers who didn't agree with the mandates, no matter what your record was like, you could have an unblemished record, the unions did not stand up for them. That's when a lot of this problem with the attrition rate and recruitment rates started to happen. But is all this just part of a bigger plan to lower the standards of the police because they want a lower standard of policing? They want police in there that they can manipulate, police that act more like soldiers, or police, a new breed of police that maybe aren't quite as switched on enough to question the way the government wants to do things. Is that really what's happening? Not sure. Maybe. But hey, am I just a conspiracy theorist? Who knows? But my name's j-fallon, and that's just all my opinion. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. Please let me know what you think and like and share.
And say it isn't real, and please don't go away. Just give me one more day. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again.